What is up, y'all? It is another day of hacking. Um, I'm gonna give it some time for people to trickle in. I know it's 8 a.m. my time, so I would not blame you if you are a little bit late. To kind of start out my morning, I have a lot of tea that I will be drinking. So I hope that y'all get to have your tea or coffee this morning. I don't know if you can see that steam, but it's beautiful. Okay, so today, for anyone who's wondering, we are going to be working on um, threat threat hunting using elastic security. This is actually really cool and one of my favorite workshops that I recently discovered. We're gonna have the chance to, learn how to use tools that actual cybersecurity professionals would use, as well as use those tools for three capture the flag challenges. Is actually 8 a.m. 8 a.m. for me, so it's super early. I'm just kind of tired. Let me actually go ahead and open the blinds so I get a little bit more light. Yeah, it's nice and bright. Okay. So just to kind of start out, I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to sign in. So, or check in. If you don't already, we are in day 5 of Local Hack Day Share, which means that we've had 5 days of all these wonderful workshops and opportunities to earn points for your guild. Okay, so what this means is link. For every check-in we get, okay, you get a point for your guild, as well as one step closer to Ryan Swift live streaming buying a Blahaj. Now, I do this more for Jack. I think Jack really wants to see Ryan buy a Blahaj. She's been wearing him down over like the past couple months, so I know I would personally love to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so if I can learn how to work a computer. Okay, so right here, I'm going to just go to, let me make sure this link works, hack/hack with Mara. Okay, let's see if this redirects. I just set this up, so, and it works. Okay, so make sure that you're logged into your MLH account. I'm gonna zoom in so y'all can see better. Make sure you're logged in, and all you gotta do is register and check in. I believe you can do that until the end of the event, but let's do that earlier. And if you are a part of a guild, show some love, because I see that I know I'm a part of Lahaj Gang, so I know there's a lot of us, and yes, I am earning some points for y'all. I love being a part of it. Okay, so now we are all checked in, and now we can go to these fancy little slides over here, but let me first take a sip of my tea. It smells so good. It is so hot. Okay. So this is definitely going to be more of a less high energy and more calm morning vibes today. So I love to see all the different guilds in our chat. It looks like Wind in our chest hair is doing pretty good. Let's do a fun, just out of curiosity while people trickle in. I'm just gonna see like what is our leaderboard at? This is not the leaderboard update. This is just me being curious. Okay. Looks like Wind in our chest hair is doing pretty good. Wow. This is everyone here. That's so cool. I love seeing all like the different people in our community like rocking it. Okay. So now we're gonna go back to these slides. Okay. Oh, you have the developer student community. Love it. Love to see it. Okay. So to kind of start out, the workshop we'll be doing today is Introduction to Threat Hunting Using Elastic Security. I'm going to run this like a local host. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Mara. This is my very cute doodle that MLH does for us. and I am here to lead the session as well as help you learn something new today. But really, for introductions, I'm a third year CS undergraduate major at the University of Virginia, and I love working with React and Python. I'm still pretty new to cybersecurity, but I'm taking a class in it this semester and gone through this workshop a few times, and I love it. Shout out to Micro Club right here. Okay, if you want to tweet instead of this, go ahead and just tweet at local hack day and MLH. If you haven't had a chance to follow our Instagram, make sure that you go and do that too. We're trying really hard to get to 10,000 followers, and Emily, our marketing person, runs a bomb Instagram. So, okay, to kind of introduce y'all to what we're going to be doing today, there's like 5 things, 4, 5. 0 is just a welcome. 1 is learning a little bit about what Elastic Security is. That's the software we'll be using today. 2 is getting set up with it. 3 is fun capture the flag challenges. And 4 is recapping and next steps. So as an introduction to MLH, we have over 100,000 hackers. We're in the 6th digit, y'all. That's crazy. And I'd love to see where everyone is from because it looks like we have 400 cities. Probably won't have all 400 cities here, but I always love seeing where everyone's from. For me, my hometown is, or where I am right now, I'm at college at the University of Virginia. So I am in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's in Central Virginia. I love seeing East Coast. Shout out to ES Techies. They are a guild entirely based off of time zones. So if you live on the East Coast and you don't have a guild, definitely check them out. We've got East Coast, India, Houston, Texas, London, Kolkata. I feel like I'm saying that very terribly wrong. We do love ES Techies. Wow, the UK. I love seeing all like the international reach that MLH has. We are a global hacker community that's all about empowering hackers. So we are all over from North America to the European Union, plus the Britain now, and Asia Pacific. Sorry, it's a little early, so the gears are turning. Okay, so what are we learning today? As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be learning introduction to threat hunting with Elastic Security, what exactly Elastic Stack is. Elastic Stack is going to be Elastic, Logstash, and Kibana. We'll be working through that today. And then we're also going to be learning how to use Elastic Security for this thing called SIM. SIM is actually Security Information and Event Management. You just pronounce it like STEM though. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now we're moving on to what exactly is Elastic Security. So I'm going to go ahead and have y'all go ahead and set up this process because I know when I did it, it took me a sec. Okay, so when you go to that link, that's going to send you to this right here. Okay, go ahead and put your email here. Enter your email and just start a free trial. Okay, I've done a couple, so just go ahead and start a free trial. It's going to ask you for a couple questions before it sends you a verification email. Make sure you answer those questions, and then we'll go ahead and go back to the presentation, just because I know that verification email can take some time. Okay, hold on. There's another way you can do that. If you don't have an education email, just scroll down to the bottom and it says, but first enjoy a free trial on us. No credit card required. Go have fun. Okay. So we're going to do just that. We're just going to go have fun. Okay, I'm putting a little bit of protein shake in my coffee now. Ooh, making a latte. Okay. So either if you have an educator account, either go up to this blue up here, or if you don't, scroll down to this but first enjoy a free trial on us. Okay. We will not be making a project per se, but we will be doing some capture the flag challenges, which are really cool. If you've been to our US Air Force capture the flag challenges, these are a little more realistic, a little more like what you would see in the real world or maybe at competitions. Okay, so again, just make sure that you either sign up. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. You either sign up for this 30-day challenge trial if you have an educator account, or scroll down to the bottom and sign up for the 14-day trial if you do not have an educator account. Either way, it's a free trial. You can delete your account afterwards. You don't need a credit card to sign up. So we're just having a good time. Okay, so if you're looking to get points for your guild, I know people are asking about challenge or competition. You can just go ahead and check in down below at Hack Pack Hack with Mara. I decided that I kind of stole that from Robbie. I'm going to be using that as my short link from now on. Okay, so now we're here. We're back. Presentation. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about cybersecurity. We know cybersecurity is such a huge field. There's a lot of different things that we're doing to protect the stuff we care about. So things like networks, devices, programs, and data from things like attack, damage, and unauthorized access. So there's a couple things that's going on here. Has anyone recently heard of has anyone recently heard of any security breaches? Oh, um, go ahead and set up now just because the verification email can take some time, or just like wait for the verification email, but we will be doing capture the flag together as well as working together with, what's the word? We will be working together to kind of go through what exactly Last Exact is. So as long as you signed up for the free trial, we can set it up later together. The verification email will take some time. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what solar wind hack is, so if you want to send that, that'd be great. Sounds like these are some pretty cool ones going on. I only know about Cambridge Analytica just because I did a project on it. But for anyone who doesn't know, it's essentially someone had a research study that used a personality test to get more information. And instead of just getting information on just them, it also grabbed data from their Facebook friends. Then the researcher partnered with Cambridge Analytica, who actually works on finding out, like doing like data profiling for Republicans in the US. If you don't know how the US political system works, it's essentially like two parties, just Democrats and Republicans. And Cambridge Analytica filled that gap of like tech with Republicans, where it was rumored, it's not like it was rumored that they used this data from people's Facebook friends to work on targeted advertising, which could have been said to sway the election. So yeah, that was with Facebook. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's like this is something that happens in everyday life. Um, oh, this is pretty cool. If you want to learn more about the solar wind hack, check out Orion's comment right here. This is pretty sick. Okay, so when we're talking a little bit about security, we kind of talk about trust. I don't know about y'all, but I know once I heard about Cambridge Analytica, that was when I was in high school. I like took a step back from Facebook. I was like, okay, I need to not do these quizzes. I need to not, just give my information out just because I want to figure out what Marvel character I am. And so essentially data is something that is valuable, okay? If you look yourself online, you can find out so much information that you yourself did not put on there. And that information is valuable. People sell that. And so when we talk about cybersecurity, we want to make sure that if we are going to give someone our data, then we need to be able to trust them with it. So that kind of brings us on to security breaches. So there are like three different types. Okay, I want to mention them kind of briefly, and then the next slide we'll go a little bit more into them. But there's three types. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility. So first one is in 2001, hackers stole personal details of 77 million PlayStation user accounts. That's a crazy amount. So this would be a confidentiality breach. Users lost privacy of their data. Then next we have a student created a phishing scheme to gain access to their school network and modify grades in 2018. Sounds like they were not doing the best in their classes. For this would be something called an integrity breach. Data was modified. And then last year, Google's login system failed, meaning users couldn't log into Google services for an hour. And I remember this where like Google was having a rough time and I couldn't, we were trying to run a workshop and we couldn't because people couldn't access their Gmail. And that's called an accessibility breach. So when you can't access something. So something that's important to mention here is we have something called the CIA triad. Whereas before, maybe you imagine that someone is like hacking into the dark web and planting a virus or things like that. There's a lot of different ways that CIA or cybersecurity can be compromised. So, some people do it in the opposite order of CIA because in America, I believe that's like the center of it's some secret government thing. Sorry, the acronym escapes me right now. But what we have is confidentiality. Can unwanted parties access the data? If it's not secret when it's supposed to be, like how can we give it away? So in Central Intelligence Agency, thank you. That's CIA. But the CIA we're talking here is more for cybersecurity. So then, like for example, for confidentiality, what if you were signing up for a bank account? Again, this is very America centric because I don't know about like other countries and their policies. So in America, when you sign up for a bank account, you have to give your social security number. Your social security number is very, very important to keep secret. Okay, if you can't trust the bank will keep it safe, then someone could go and find your social security number and pretend to be you and get a bunch of credit cards and ruin your credit score. Something else is integrity. Does that data remain unaltered? So say we're working with something, okay, that's my bad. Social security number in America, that's basically like an identifier for you for your citizenship. Yeah, it's kind of like a personal ID number. Yeah. But basically, it's super important and you want to keep it very secret. You only give it out to like jobs in the bank. That's it. And then for integrity, it's like, does the data stay unchanged? So you wanna make sure that if you're going into a system, that data is what it's supposed to be. So when you're thinking of something like the last example, a student hacked in to change grades. You don't. If you're a teacher, you're trusting that these grades are the same thing. Say that a student hacked in, and instead of giving everyone A's like you think they would, maybe they fail everyone. So that is like, whether it's pass or fail everyone, it's a matter of integrity. It doesn't line up with what it should be, what is the real data. Okay, next we have availability. Can users access their data when they need to? So this is something called, you'll often hear this in conjunction with DOS or DDoS attacks, which is denial of distribution of service, which essentially is like they've put a bunch of internet traffic onto your site, and now no one else can access it. So that's another thing of cybersecurity. It's like making it so no one else can access it, and therefore like your service can't be used. So, like, while this might not sound like too important for say like a personal blog. Maybe like I have a blog and suddenly it's not available. People can't load it. That's fine. It's just a blog. But when you think about something that's really important and like pivotal to maybe people's health, like a hospital network, and they can't get on to their network to make sure that they're giving people the right medication or they're scheduling people for operations, things like that, then that's where you can see like that's a matter of life and death. I do not have a blog. It's just an example. Actually, you can find me on medium.com, but besides the point. Okay, so threat detection. So a lot of these things, like these security issues, are called threats, and they all have some kind of cause, some kind of risk that led to these threats. So we have a bunch of tools that help us find it out because otherwise, if we have these security breaches, it could be a big no-no. So essentially what we have something called endpoint security. This is actually like a feature of elastic security and something that we're looking at. So any device connected to a network is an endpoint and therefore can have a security threat. And so these endpoints can be something like a visitor to a network, um, a visitor to your website, or just users of your software. But we need to figure out how we can protect them from malware, DDoS attacks, hacking attempts, and more. Okay. So the way that we do that is we want to ideally prevent any attacks in the first place. But sometimes we can't do that. So we want to make sure that if it has happened, we learn what happened and how we learn what happened so we can make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using something called a log. If you don't know what a log is, you probably actually do. So if you've ever written a print statement or a system.out or a console log or whatever, that is a form of logging. It's some kind of piece of information that's telling us what's going on inside of the program. What's really cool is if you have like a smartphone connected to your computer, you can actually check out like the log of the apps running on it. So like Android, the command is like ADB logs. And you can see all the different logs you generated from your phone. Just really sweet. I unfortunately switched to an iPhone like last year, so I cannot pull that up for y'all. Okay, but basically you're just gonna have a bunch of data about what's going on. Okay, so next. So logs just don't happen from anything. It happens from stuff that generates data. Okay, so we want to use all of this data, all these logs, to find correlations. Correlations are just patterns that we find. So if we see that we want to find inside this data any patterns that might lead us to find uh, who is, breaching our security, who's trying to hack us. All right, so that's why we're gonna go ahead and use Elastic I know we pulled it up earlier to make sure everyone has access, but Elastic is a really great free open source tool that developers can use to organize and more effectively search log data. We're gonna essentially be given all y'all log data and then making sure that it is a good time together. So Elastic is really great because it can search, it can observe, and it can protect. We're going to be using 3 different parts of Elastic, which is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. So we're going to look at all 3 of these. So Elasticsearch is essentially just a search engine. It's free and open. It's like a theme with Elasticstack. It's free and open search engine that helps you look through a bunch of different data, which is really cool because Pfizer, which is the COVID-19 vaccine, I got Moderna, but Pfizer is also pretty cool. It's like one of the, I think, first 2 that came out, or at least the big 2 now. They use it to like search through all their data, which is crazy to see that real world application right there. Okay, next we have observing. So by like using a bunch of logs and things like that, we can see what's going on and how to react to different events. So application performance monitoring is just kind of like a catch-all term for what we for how we monitor data at any stage of its use. So like for example, this like for a website, it might be how long does it take to load? How long does it take to make a network request? Latency is like a really important metric, at least for web services, and it can also be focused on user experience. I also love to see y'all hyping each other up in chat. Looks like a couple y'all are sharing your blog links. I'm glad that we went on that tangent to get to see more of what the hacker community has to offer. So love to see all the blog links. Okay, next we have something called data ingestion. So what we do is we have something called Lodge Stash that we can use. Again, it's free and open, okay? That we can go ahead and use to normalize data. So normalize data just means to like reduce redundant data, so anything that's duplicated. And then harmonizing data means to make them cohesive. So if, maybe you have a bunch of JSON files or CSV files, you want to convert them to something else. That way it's easier for us to look through and work with. We're also going to be using FileBeat today, which is perfect if our logs come out in JSON. Yeah, and also like putting them in the same dimensions if that matters. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so next we have a little bit more about data ingestion, but logs come from a lot of different places: website visits, database access, foreign inputs, web services. So what Elasticstack does is kind of brings them all together to make sure that we're not like searching through, the same thing over and over. So Lodge Stash is really great about this bit. Okay, now we have protecting. So Elastic Security allows analysis to prevent, detect, and respond to threats, okay? The intention of Elastic Security is all about protecting our environment, okay? So when we put all of these together, we need to be able to interact with this data. So we're going to use Kibana, another free and open tool. As I said, Elasticstack is known for being free and open. Kibana is a GUI, a graphical user interface, fun little like coding vocab word for you. And you can see diagrams, maps, charts, whatever, any like things that help you visualize what's going on. So we're going to be accessing this through the web browser, thankfully. Okay, so kind of like a use case of Elasticsearch, that way we can conceptualize it all for everyone, is that SIM is a subsection of computer security. So SIM tools help you with real-time analysis of security alerts in software and networks. So this is like big companies or big organizations that you've heard that use this are like Slack. Okay, Slack, that's crazy. I know MLHers use it all the time. And Oxford University, they use them to check out their network logs to make sure everything is working good, working dandy, and we don't have any hackers. Okay, so now that we know what Elasticstack is, let's go ahead and start using it. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to create an account. We're going to deploy the stack. We're going to use Kibana to find some logs, and then we're going to do some capture the flag together. Okay, let's go. So let's make sure that everyone is at MLH localhost Elastic. If you've already done this, it's great. Go ahead and let me go ahead. Go here. You'll enter this page. If you have an education account, go ahead and click enter your email here. Otherwise, if you don't have an education account or you have an ac.uk account, which I think is education, but for some reason won't work, just go ahead and scroll down and you can enter your email down here. They're both free trials. You both don't need your credit card. It's going to be the same for this purpose. Okay. So after that, you want to make sure that you go ahead and check your email. Your email should have some kind of verification email. Hopefully that's come in by now. If it hasn't, please let me know. Or if it has, please let me know. I love hearing both. It makes it so much easier for me. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I am already logged in here. So let me know when y'all get here. Okay, sorry. This is going to be something that we're going to be using as a sneak peek for later tonight. But I just wanted to clear that before. Okay. We have one person who's here. Oh, two people. Or, oh, you're just saying hi. So, hi to anyone who's joining. Another plug while we're like chilling. Make sure that you see that link down below. It says Hack Pack Hack with Mara. Okay, make sure you go there and you check in. We want 45,000 check-ins for this week. We are almost at the end of Local Hack Day, which is actually a week, but we keep it with day because that's what it was before. We like to be consistent. So make sure that you go ahead and check in, okay? Although seeing the participation, I feel like this has, we get better as we go. I really, really love Local Hack Day Share. Okay, looks like setup is doing pretty good for everyone. Okay, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're just going to click start your free trial. Okay, your free trial starts when you deploy. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. It's gonna ask us, what do we wanna do with Elastic Stack? So obviously what we've been talking about is security. So we're gonna click security. And then you're gonna check out, like, scroll down, you can change the name of your deployment. I'm not going to. And then you can go ahead and just create that deployment here, okay? So this is gonna go on for a couple minutes. So like, no worries. What's gonna happen when you press deploy is you're going to get your credentials. This is something you should not share with anyone for cybersecurity reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and download this just so I always have it. But for you, go ahead, either copy and paste it, download it, whatever. I'm sharing it because I'm going to delete this soon after, so it doesn't really matter for me. But you don't, you want to make sure that you don't give it away. The region shouldn't matter. Region shouldn't matter, you should be fine. And it is Elastic Security, so it's the option all the way to the right. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna chill here. It's gonna take a couple minutes, so hopefully that also gives people time to get caught up. If they're running a little bit behind. This honestly is a really fun workshop. I like doing cybersecurity stuff. I'm a very web dev person, or at least I'm trying to be. So I'm trying to be like a full stack engineer, but or web developer. I don't know what the job title would be. So cybersecurity is something a little new for me, but it's always really interesting to learn because I feel like it's so relevant. Okay. Okay. It does really take a few minutes. There's nothing I can do to speed it up. So while we're waiting, does everyone want to share what their favorite part of Local Hack Day has been so far? I honestly love seeing what people are up to. Shout out to all the web dev people. Kind of web dev plug for later tonight at, what is it? At 3 my time. Okay, 3 Eastern time. We'll be doing the instrument emulator workshop. Okay, and I will be making a soundboard or like one of those like button things that play sounds, all in HTML. Okay, so if you feel like you need a refresher in your HTML, definitely come join. And if you want to just, I feel like sometimes we work really hard to make these like really intricate projects that we forget that we don't need that. Um, yeah, we forget that we don't need all of these frameworks. We can make something really fun and silly with just HTML. Okay, looks like every day is new. Oh, I love that. That's super fun. I don't know if this is you saying like you're interested in cloud engineering or you are a cloud engineer, but either way, that's, I think, both pretty sick. Okay. I hope to see you at the workshop, Snowy Pigeon. A tool, you know what? Call yourself a web dev if you want, but um, if that's what you want to do. But I think Explorer is a really cool job. If you can open Kibana, that is the next step. I just cannot do that. 15, that's crazy. I honestly love that. It's really great to get started early because I know I got started when I was 17. I'm like 19 right now, so it's pretty recent, but wow, you're doing amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh to see if that makes it any better. My laptop not set up for streaming. I'll wait till I get a gaming PC, and then you can find me at twitch.tv/MaraDrinksMilk, and I'll stream fun things. Okay, it looks like this is still creating my deployment. So, what? Crazy. I love seeing all the teenagers here. That's crazy. Yeah. Wow, thanks Adam for plugging that. But I honestly, the earlier the start you can get on coding is great. It's something that really matters now. Oh, now I can open it. Okay. Okay, so now it's going to authenticate. And then we're essentially going to get to this screen. It'll load. The screen is going to be our Kibana. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but I do never actually have heard it pronounced. We're getting to our Kibana dashboard where we can look at all of our log data. But the thing is, we don't have any log data, so we want to add some data. I'm loving the diversity in ages. Okay, it looks like we have people from 13 to 43 just on this one stream. Okay, if that doesn't show you how diverse our hacker community is, I don't know what does. Okay. Okay. Cabana? I feel like that's close. I'm not gonna lie, if you've come to like my streams and my workshops, you'll probably learn that pronouncing words not my strong suit. Yeah. Okay. So now we're on the site, and I mentioned the add data earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and again zoom in so it's easier for y'all to see. Okay, there is an add data button in the top right. It says add data, and we're going to go ahead and click that. Okay. So now we're loading again. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and download FileBeat. There's going to be a lot of things going on. So when you go to add data, it's going to automatically pop you in the security tab. We actually want to be in the logs tab. So I'm going to click logs. And after logs, we want to go to Apache logs. That's what we're going to be using today. So Apache is a really common open source web server platform. You can, it's used to host like a third of all websites, which is crazy. So we're going to use some of that data in our Capture the Flag challenge. We're also using Azure, which is Microsoft's hosting platform, or sorry, there's other options such as, let me show you the other options. There's other options such as Azure, which is Microsoft's hosting platform, and something called ActiveMQ, which is a Java message broker. So, okay. So now we're going to go here. We have this screen, Apache logs. Okay, I can't send you a link because it's very it's unique to my deployment, but there's essentially things that go here that say getting started. I have a Mac, so I'll be using Mac, but if you have a Windows, make sure that you check out the instructions here, okay? You're gonna essentially follow all 4 steps, okay? Follow all 4 steps, just like I'll follow all 4 steps on my side. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to copy the snippet, okay? And then I'm going to, let's bring this smaller, so that way. Okay, I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm going to open a terminal for y'all. Okay, I'm gonna put this in. Okay, I'm gonna go into my downloads, and I'm going to take that snippet I just copied, and I'm going to paste it. I'm also going to zoom in because I realize y'all probably can't see this too well. It's gonna do a bunch of things. A lot of things are installing, but it was really fast, so we're all good. So next thing that we're gonna do, so I've already downloaded and installed FileBeat, so that gives me step 1. Step 2, we're going to edit the configuration. Okay, so I'm gonna use something called Nano because I don't want to open a text editor right now, so I want to stay in the terminal. So I'm just gonna do nano filebeat.yaml. Is that pronounced YAML? I think it is. Essentially, I'm just going to scroll down to where I find the Elastic Cloud information. It's a little bit down. Okay, Elastic Cloud right here. Okay, what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to copy this snippet right here, a lot of copy and pasting. I'm going to press enter a couple times. I'm going to paste it right here. So this is like the correct deployment, but it looks like I need to put in my password. Thank goodness that I downloaded my password early on, so I have a CSV that lets me see what's going on. Okay, it's gonna be loading. That's a good time. If you're still doing the first bit, like no worries. I'll kind of like take a sec. We'll chill. Honestly, Excel takes a while to open my laptop anyways for some reason. At this point, we're just kind of chilling. We're having a good time. So to kind of let you know, like what we just did, we just downloaded something called FileBeat. Okay, FileBeat takes log files from your device, okay, and then deploys them into Elasticsearch so that way we can check it out. So we can. So normally the way you'd be doing this is you do it on a server to like to control everything. But since we're just like messing around today, we're gonna go ahead and just install it on our local device to make sure we run things a little bit faster. Okay, let's make sure, is my Excel open? Okay, so I'm gonna do this off screen really quick, no biggie. Okay, and then I'm just going to delete password right here and put that. Okay, so to kind of, what we're doing is we're setting up FileBeat. So essentially what we've gone ahead and done is we've downloaded it, we've unzipped the file. Okay, so curl, curl is just downloading it. Tar, I think, unzips the file, and then CD is change directory, so we're going inside the FileBeat. It's a-okay if you are just on the first step. Sometimes it takes a sec. I'll kind of go back and forth throughout this to make sure we're all kind of on the same page. So if by chance you are done with the first step, like I was, then what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to move on to step 2, which is just modifying this filebeat.yaml. However you want to do it, whether you want to open it in File Explorer or Finder and like click on it, open up in text editor and edit it, you can. Okay, so make sure that you're editing in filebeat.yaml, or unless is Windows different? No, make sure that you're editing filebeat.yaml. Okay, cool. You edited the right thing. Okay, so Cloud ID is essentially going to be the ID of our specific deployment. This is already like auto-generated for you because it knows what your ID is. And then auth is just our username. It's Elastic, which is what we got earlier. We made this first deployment. If you remember that pop-up where I was like, download your credentials, you need them. Our username is Elastic, and then we go ahead and we put in that password that we downloaded. So yours will be a bunch of like random letters and numbers, which is what mine is. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and then make sure that you put that under Elastic Cloud. Okay. If you look up, like, if you just Control F, you do cloud.auth, you should be able to go straight here. And you can just copy that underneath. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Okay, so now my file b.yaml is all saved. Okay, now I'm gonna check out step 3. Step 3 seems pretty easy. I'm just going to copy these snippets, copy that snippet. I'm gonna paste it. Stuff is gonna happen. Boom, it happened. Enabled Apache, perfect. And it also says that it wants me to modify the settings in the module.d folder and then the apache.yaml file. So I'm going to nano modules.d/apache.yaml. Okay, so this part is going to be more unique to what we're doing. So this is the part that I kind of want to wait for everyone to kind of get to. But what is going to be going on is that we're going to edit this file a little bit. But while we're waiting for everyone to get onto the same page, and stuff is probably happening in your terminal, go ahead and go to MLH host/elastic data. We're going to go ahead and download some log data that we're going to be working with today. So it's going to bring you to this page, and then you're just going to go ahead and download something. So I'm just going to download that. I put that in my downloads. It's called axis_logs. Okay. So normally this data would come from like some kind of web server, and like the setup would be the same, but we just, in order to keep it consistent and so we can do capture the flag together, we have some mock log data that y'all can use. Okay, if you want to check it out, if you open access log, it honestly, to me, it looks a lot like gibberish, but essentially you have 10,000 lines, okay, of network logs. To kind of look into this, Git is a request for a web server. So if you're working with a website, it means that people have requested content or just visited the site. This contains information like where's the request from, what's the IP address, what's the timestamp, country, etc. There's a lot of information here that we're going to check out later. Okay. So now we're back here at, I think right here. Okay. Now we're back here at modules.d/apache.yaml. Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is we are going to change error logs, error enabled to false. We don't want a bunch of things logging out. No, thank you. And then we're also going to do something. We're going to go ahead and set a custom path for our log files. Okay, so I'm going to set my custom path to my download, to my access log from the download. So the way this is work is if you are a Windows user, it's going to look something like this. Okay. I think a tip is don't tab here. Instead, just space. Just because I think when I tabbed once, it like came up with some error for some reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and space and then do a dash. Okay, don't forget the dash. And then since I'm a Mac, I'm just going to do users/mara/downloads/access logs. And that's it. Okay, so make sure if you have If you're using Windows, it probably looks a little bit more like this. Okay, so at this point, there's two things that y'all have done. Okay, there's two things that y'all have done. You have edited file YAML, and you've also gone ahead and edited modules.d Apache YAML. Yes, so in your var path right here, this is what we're adding, okay? We're going to make sure that we do a bunch of spaces, we do a dash, and then we do another space, and we give our path to the file. So for me, my user is Mara in my laptop, and in the downloads file folder, I have the access logs. And so I just named it like this. Another thing that we're doing is we're also disabling error messages just because we don't need that right now. Okay. So again, I feel like numbers are like changing. So like if you haven't checked in, make sure you go to hackpack/hack with Mara and go ahead and check in. You earn points for your guild, and we get one step closer to making MLH essentially Lahaj LH. Okay. So next what we're going to go ahead and do is we've done steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to step 4. This is pretty easy. I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste and just enter, and it's going to do stuff. So that's fine. I'm just letting it do stuff. And I'm also just going to be checking data to see if anything shows up. You'll see that no data has been received yet, but it's going to be loading everything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check it again. Still nothing. I am impatient. What are you modifying in Apache.yaml? Let me go ahead and. Okay, so just add D. I'm going to put this up while I'm. Okay. So we're at apache.yaml. What we're doing is we're adding a variable path, okay? Make sure instead of tabs, you do a bunch of spaces, dash, space, and the path to your access log. If you have a Windows, it'll probably start out, if you scroll up, I think I pasted it in here, it'll probably start out with a C colon rather than just a slash, but I have a Mac. And then you want to make sure that error enabled is false. And those are the two things that we're doing, okay? We're making it so it has a custom path so it knows to grab our access logs. These access logs are what we downloaded ourselves when we went to MLH host. Okay, let me send this. MLH local.host/elastic data. Okay. So those are the access logs we downloaded ourselves. The path is up to you. I just put in my downloads because that's simple for me. If you have a place you like to keep your info, you can. Okay, error writing, permission denied. Yeah, try sudo, see if that works. Linux, nice. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about Linux, but I feel like they should. Linux is pretty similar to Mac because both Unix. So you probably have a downloads folder. Yeah, Yusuf is saying downloads. That's where it probably went. So. Okay. Okay, connect to. That is an interesting error. Do you have everything open? Do you have everything open like you have Kibana open? Because you need this open in order to make a connection. Okay, so Now, what's going on is if I refresh and I check data, I've actually received data from this module. So that's really cool. It's nice knowing that it's actually working. Okay. So you can go ahead and check data. And then what to do once you edit Apache YAML. So Apache YAML is part of step 3. So after you've modified the settings in step 3, you can go ahead and move on to step 4, which is just running these 2 commands. Okay. Open component, keep this same. And deployment status is healthy and everything for this, for Moon. No connection. Has anyone else received that error? I don't know, maybe that could also be because, let me go ahead and exit. Maybe it might be good to check to see what your what your FileBeat YAML has. Make sure that you have the correct cloud ID and cloud auth. Okay, yeah, it's just a regular dash. We will figure this out. Okay, we'll figure it out. Does anyone with a Linux who's more used to it know how to get to like your downloads recently? I don't know, is there some kind of finder? Because I know in Mac, if I do command space, if I do like command space, like the spotlight search will show up and I can look up access logs and then it'll tell me where it is. Okay, Stark Hazard says CD /downloads. Check that out, and then ls to see whether or not that file is in there. Okay, I love the helping out. Okay, so if you did get your data successfully retrieved from this module, so just check data, make sure it's green. Make sure it's green. Then you're gonna go ahead and click Apache Logs Dashboard. Okay. Let me go ahead and go back so that way y'all can look through. Okay. If you get a warning that if you get a warning, 10 messages. Okay. For Moon, make sure that you set up filebeat.yaml correctly. Typically, this is because like you've entered the path name wrong. So check it out. Okay. This error is expected. This is because we're using the trial version, so we don't have all the full ML capabilities. Okay. Just make sure that you scroll down and you check data and make sure that's green. Okay, if you are on Windows, go ahead and let's go to the Windows section of the tutorial, then follow this bit right here. And it looks like if you're on step 4, you would just do ./filebeat.exe setup start service filebeat. Okay. Okay. So if it still shows yellow, give it some time. I know, like, I think I got the So if you notice here, I got the same error, okay? It says setting up ML for Apache. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I got the same error right here. Please use the ML app instead. And then I waited a bit and it still worked out. So let me know if you're starting to get any of this down below. Okay, so if you're working in PowerShell, make sure that you're following the Windows tutorial on the site, and then I'll send in what your command is. That is for starting FileBeat. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go to the Apache logs dashboard. Oh, for some reason that Twitch comment did not send. So let me resend that for Twitch. Okay, so I'm going to open the Apache's log dashboard, and we're going to end up somewhere right here. It will currently not let me send the command into the Twitch chat, so make sure that you're on the Windows tab of the downloads, and I'll walk you through it. Okay. So at this point, hopefully we're here in the Apache dashboard log, or Apache logs dashboard. I think that's what it's called, yeah. So I'm gonna give it a second. Okay, so something I notice here is that you cannot see anything. There's nothing going on. There are no results found, nothing. But what's important to mention is that this is in the last 15 minutes, okay? The thing is, we did not set up this workshop in the last 15 minutes. So a lot of this data is older, so we want to click this. We want to go to absolute, and instead of 2021, we want to go all the way back to the start of 2020. I'm going to even go all the way to midnight, okay? So we're at January 1st, 2020, midnight. And then I'm going to go ahead and update up here. And then once it updates, should take a sec, but then it's going to refresh, okay? It's going to refresh, and then we see that, wow, we have a bunch of different stuff, okay? There's like 7,000 counts all in just like one column. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bigger so that way we can see all the different visualizations. Okay. But yeah, so we can see all the different stuff going on here. So this is super cool. Now we can see all of our log data displayed in Kibana. So there's a lot of different information that we can see. We can see geographical locations of requests up here at this map. So there's a lot in like the Midwest, 135 right here. Okay, we can see what kind of files are accessed. We can see what browsers are being used. What else can we see? We can see operating systems that are used. And like the top URLs. That's pretty cool. Okay. So now that we have our data, we're going to go ahead and check out the Sim app. So the way we're going to go ahead and do that is we're going to click this hamburger icon in the top left. Okay. Open the sidebar. We're going to scroll all the way down to security. This is Elastic Security, and then we're going to go to Overview. So to kind of recap that, we are going to go click the button in the top left. We're going to scroll all the way down until we find Security, and we're going to click Overview. So click that right there. We're chilling, we're having a good time. This mug is as big as my face. I love it. Okay. So once we get to Security Overview, we should be right around here, okay? So we're gonna get something like this. So if you notice that there isn't anything showing up, that makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and do is that same thing that we did last time. And we are going to change it into absolute dating all the way from January 2020, January 1st at midnight, just so we can get everything. We're gonna go ahead and update, okay? Then we're gonna go ahead and do and make sure that we just have, things working, is we're gonna go ahead and click Untitled Timeline. And we just want to make sure that all data sources includes file B. So if you go to all data sources, you show highlighted or show advanced, you should be able to see file B here. Okay, it should be added automatically, but this is just a good check. Okay. So then what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to save that, exit out, close the timeline, and then we're going to go look at hosts. So this should have details about our own device and which is where we uploaded these logs from FileB. If you're having trouble right now, if you setting it up, yeah, you'll be available to rewatch this. And yeah, there's no time limit. As long as your trial works, you are fine. Okay. That being said, if you still kind of want to walk through and see how the cybersecurity works, you can. But also, if you checked in at hackpack/hack with Mara, you should actually be getting slides. That way you can follow along as well, which is essentially just what I'm doing. I'm just also demoing it as well. Okay, so in the host section, we'll kind of see more information about the host. So if I scroll down, you'll see the host name. I have my host name is Mara. It's my name. I changed my computer name to Mara as well. I have a Mac, which is version 10.16, I guess. I feel like I need to update it. Okay, so typically these logs would be coming from a lot of different sources and servers, but for this workshop, for simplicity's sake, we're just going to use our own computer. So then we're going to go ahead and after we see host, remember this host name, okay? I know I recently changed my host name, so I know it's Mara, but the first time I did this, I did not know my host name. So remember your host name, you're going to need that. Then we're going to go ahead and click Network tab. So Network tab, you can see a bunch of different sources of the log data. So all these data points that we'll be loading in just a sec is that's loading in just a sec is investigating, is all the data points from different IP addresses. So this is all of our log data just displayed graphically. I do need to update my laptop. That's also another thing with cybersecurity. Keeping things up to date is really important. Keeping things up to date is really important because often they'll have new security fixes and bug fixes. So fun fact. Okay. So right here, you'll see all these different houses. I think it's very cute. There's a lot of things going on. So you can see all different IPs, all that, all over the world. So look, it's me, but in Italy. I think that's where it was. More Italy. Let's do China. Where am I in China? Wow, amazing. I'm all over the world. Okay. So then everyone should look essentially like this because we have the same log data. So next what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to click detections, okay? So detections allow us to add certain rules to help, detect cybersecurity threats. There are already pre-built rules from Elastic, but you can also write your own. So by setting these rules, any log data that breaks these rules are flagged immediately. So this is really great if you're okay, I know these hosts are allowed. Anyone who is not this host is not allowed. And if someone not with the host name comes in, gets shown on your data, it'll be flagged immediately to let you know. Because, if you can't prevent an attack, finding out as soon as possible is the next step. Okay, so now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to check out our log data. So at the bottom right here, we're going to see Untitled Timeline here. I'm going to click that. Okay, and let me actually just make this full screen because there's no reason we need terminal anymore. Okay, so we're now at the untitled timeline, and we want to go ahead and kind of filter this out. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add a field, and we're going to say host.hostname. So we're going to set it equal to what our host name is. This is going to take a sec. Okay, should auto complete right there. And I'm going to put in Mara because that's a value of mine. If you need to look back, check out close the timeline and check out host if you forgot your host name. Okay, so I'm going to save. And you're going to see we're going to have a bunch of events show up. So these should be all the logs that we have. Okay, see, we have like 10,003, which is crazy. So you can actually expand each log. So on the left here, there's a little caret. We can go ahead and click that, and then a sidebar will magically pop up. And this sidebar has more information. Again, Kibana, it's a really great UI. Just has a lot of stuff going on, and my poor laptop. You can see a bunch of things here. You can see it in JSON view, or, oh, that was a mistake trying to click that. Or you can see it in table view. I prefer table just because I think it looks prettier. But you can check out things like what the host name is. You can check out things like what else? What else might matter? You can check out source IP, which is really cool. And you can also check out the original URL. So like, what did they try to access? Which I'm actually just going to show because that's nice. Okay. So now that should show in my table. Perfect. Okay. So one of the interests that we have here is actually source that I saw earlier. Source is telling us information about this log request. Reminder that all these log requests are fake. And it kind of tells us where did the user come from, what's their server name, and what's the server time, and what their IP address is. So it would be really difficult to search for all these if it was just raw text. So having something that parses through all this data is super great. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and check this out a little bit more. So what we can go ahead and do is we can also say that we want something from a specific IP. Okay. What's really cool is, let's say I only want things from this, or let's say this IP, because there's like 4 of them right off the bat. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to click it. It's going to give me like a little, I'm going to click and drag. And if done right, oh, okay. I'm going to click and drag, bring it out to the side. It'll take a sec to load. Again. The point here, just so it's not painful to watch, is that you can click and drag and bring it up to that field up there. Why I'm like trying to point at my screen like you can see it. You can click and drag and literally bring this IP address up to the top, and then it'll filter it so it's anything that has our host name, which is for me Mara, and that specific IP address. So if you try it out yourself, you'll see that it'll only populate source IPs that are like yours. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slowly try to do this. I tested out so much. My poor laptop. I swear, I'm gonna get a gaming PC just for this. Okay. So I'm gonna drag this up. Let's see if I can do this. Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna figure it out. I know some of y'all watching it only, so I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to kind of see what's going on. Okay. There we go. Pop it in there. Please work. Yes, it worked. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and update right here, and you're gonna see that all these source IPs are going to be from the same thing. This is a pretty common conditional. It's like doing and, so making sure that it's both the hostname Mara and both from this specific IP. Okay. We also have the Kibana query language, which is KQL. We can do a lot of stuff right here if we just search in KQL in the search bar. And we can type things like, I want to make sure that, okay, so I'm going to get rid of this source IP, which I worked so hard to get. And instead, I'm going to look up, let's say, source country name. So we want to look up the name of the country, source dot, I think it's geo. Okay, dot country name. And we can say, I'm going to do colon, which is like the equal sign, which is really great. It like kind of fills this stuff in. So I'm going to say China because I remember there wasn't too much from China. And then I'm going to say or. And then I'm going to type in source geo country name again. This is really cool that it like auto updates for you, or not like auto completes for you. I'm going to say equals, and let's do good old India. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and that's going to go ahead and update it for me. And so then I'll go ahead and I'll pull up some more info that if I check this out, I'm pretty sure though, I checked this out, the source country should either be in India or China. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up more details. I know it's painfully slow. I do like, yeah, they are the two most populous cities or countries. Oh goodness. Yesterday I just like forgot all of geography terms. But yeah, they are the two most populous countries. Okay. So let's scroll down to source. And it looks like source country name, we got the China one. Okay. And then somewhere in there, there's also India. So that's really cool. It's something that if maybe we can't like, we don't see it up here, or we prefer to type, we can do either. We can do a drag and drop, or we can do a type and autocomplete. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and kind of move on to capture the flags, okay, y'all? So if you don't know what capture the flag is, it is a type of challenge with cybersecurity so you can test your skills. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and go to challenges. MLH.io. You're going to go ahead and log in with your MLH account, my MLH account at the top right. If you can't do this and you don't care about seeing the answers, you are welcome to watch me do it. I'll be doing it live. We'll kind of like do it together. If you want to do it on your own, then you can go ahead and, I don't know, open it up, take a little break from me. I'll try to give you all some time as well. But for anyone who doesn't have this pulled up on your computer, if you want to use the chat as like a way to suggest what I should do, I am I'll let y'all kind of control my computer. Okay, so what you'll see once you get to the challenge page is, let me just go ahead and open this. So if I go to challenges.mlh.io, then I go to Elastic Security Challenge. That's the third one. Okay, it's not BlackRock and it's not US Air Force. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to number one, unauthorized access, which is really cool because what you can do is after you logged in, you can go ahead and see if your flag is right. Okay, but what exactly is the challenge? Okay, so the challenge is you have detected unauthorized access. Okay, that means access that was not given to an employee-only resources at 1:04 a.m. server time okay, server time, on May 18th. We need to figure out what happened. Um, Give me 1 second. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to give you all about 2 minutes to kind of work on this yourself, and then with I will pop back up with the with my screen, so that way we can do this as a group as well if you're stuck. Okay, I am back. So I hope you all had a chance to kind of look through a little bit. So if you're not sure where to start, I wanted to give you all some time to kind of like look at it yourselves. There's a couple things that we're noticing. It gives us a specific time and date. So let's go ahead and check out what happened. So we're going to go ahead and go back to we're going to go ahead and go back to our timeline. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, refresh it, and start out clean, okay? So I know that it said May 18th at 1:04 a.m. So let's actually see what's up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and change the time. So I'm gonna make that so it's May. I'm gonna make it so it's the 18th. And I'm just gonna make it 1. Okay. And then go ahead and update. Let's see if I can find the time that is 1:04. Okay, so what we're doing now is, we found out that there's unauthorized access at this specific time. So we want to go back into our logs. We want to look at our timeline and go, what happened at this time? Because remember, we get so much more information from these logs. Okay, so let's see what's up. So it says May 20th. So I'm going to flip the sorting so that way it starts with like the older stuff. Yeah, my laptop, it does take a sec to load. So think of this as like brain time. So what I'm seeing is for some reason there isn't something at 1:04, which is strange because it told me that at 1:04 a.m. server time, okay, server time, that it there is a breach. Okay, there's unauthorized access. So the thing about server time, okay, is that our server is in UTC. It's Universal Time something. As you can tell, I'm not great with acronyms, but that's okay. So it's in 1 a.m. UTC. So what I've done prior is I've Googled what the time difference is, and for me, it's like 5 hours. Okay. So when It says the server time is universal coordinated time. I got that so wrong. Um, but in Eastern Daylight Time, which is where I am right now, it's not 1:04 a.m. It's not even on May 18th. For me, it's on May 17th, 9:04 p.m. Okay, so instead of May 18th, I'm going to go ahead and click this. I'm going to go back to May 17th, and I'm going to go find 9 p.m. I go update it. They got a good point. They really do. Why are you going to tell me that UTC means Universal Coordinated Time and it's not called UCT? That's confusing. And there's probably actually a really good reason. Okay, but now we're going to go ahead and we're sorting to find, or we're filtering to make sure that we have the correct time here. It's going to take some time to load. I'm going to go ahead and did this literally the other night, so it should be working. What am I looking for? I'm going to change this so it says 04, but it should say May 17th, 2020. Yes, 2020, 9:04. Okay, now I'm going to update it and see if that works. Okay. Universal time coordinated. Wow. We trusted Adam too much. You're right. It is universal time coordinated. You know, time zones are the weirdest things. I live in 2 time zones just because we switch off every like half a year. Daylight savings really is experience. Okay. So for some reason, I'm not seeing this. Why am I not seeing my thing? Okay, I'm gonna resort the timestamp. Has anyone else been able to find, their suspicious unauthorized access? In which case, maybe if you have like a URL I can sort by or something else. Okay, that looks like that's all May 20th. I want May 17th. Maybe I'm wrong. What is 1:04 a.m. UTC in EDT? I literally just Googled this last night, so I feel like I should know. Okay, it's 9:04. 9:04 is 9:04 p.m. That's 21:04. Fun fact: USA has 4 time zones, but every half a year is before spring, we actually do daylight savings time where we shift 1 hour forward. We spring forward to like compensate for the sun, the day starting earlier. I think it has to do with farming and stuff like that. Fun fact, UTC, oh, that's so funny. Read that, y'all. Read that while I figure this out. I like how that's phenomenal. Okay, so why is this not working? So let's go ahead and let's go to an earlier time to see if maybe like I can figure it out sometime, and we'll like search through. Okay, so I'm gonna start an earlier time. Start at like 7:30 to see if anything interesting happens between then. Okay, So we're gonna kind of scroll through. You see stuff. What's happening? Okay. Wait, this is so wild. For any reason, see if maybe this is weird and it actually is at 104. Okay. I'm so here for conspiracy theories. I love that. Wait, then why would you start daylight savings? What was the point? Okay. Looks like, huh? Looks like for some reason you don't have unauthorized access. So, want to make sure that see if we can see the. Let's see if we actually have this in general. I like the conspiracy theory. It's just an April Fool's prank, which honestly I agree with. Okay, so for some reason this is not popping up, but what we can do is another good tactic to see like what's going on is seeing what URL they're trying to access. Lots of the time the hackers will try to go with something that is like that starts with admin. They're trying to trick it, and it looks like right here, if we go ahead and look it up, we have admin and it says our flag, our first one right here. This is so strange. It is literally 9:04. Y'all saw me look for 9 p.m. You did. You did. I just, for some reason, did not see it. So if we go here and we actually look at the original URL, we'll see that the admin flag is your first one. Okay, so we want to make sure that, we accounted for time difference. I know we went on to a whole time zone tangent, and what we found was this URL that goes admin. So oftentimes what will happen is that typically the admin path requires some kind of authentication, requires like a username and a password. So the fact that they were able to get somewhere, without having a username password is super suspicious. So usually you can do it in a bunch of different ways, but it just involves tricking the system somehow. Okay, so now we'll do number 2. Okay, number 2 is perhaps this attacker has tried something else. Has the same IP done anything else malicious? Okay, so this one will definitely be a lot easier. But the question is, has the same IP done anything else malicious? So I'm going to get rid of this tag right here. Okay. And how would we go ahead and check to see whether or not someone from this IP has done something else malicious? Does anyone know? Anyone have suggestions? I'm gonna refill some tea. It's a really big cup, which I love because it stores a lot, but it cools down the tea way too fast. I feel like low-key, it's like a soup bowl. Okay. Filter by IP. Okay. You are reading my mind. Okay. Reading my mind. Okay. So it looks like our source IP is 9.999. Wow. This numbers. Okay. So I'm going to grab it and we're going to try to drag it. I have to be really careful because otherwise I'll mess this up really easily. Okay. I'll pop it right here. So let's see what else this IP has done. So it's going to go ahead and update. It's updating. Okay. Why is this not wanting to work today? I know there's another thing. I'm wondering if it's still like going off the previous search. So instead, I'm going to type it up here. I'm gonna reset everything to get it all back. Oh, okay, so this is source. Oh, it looks like for some reason the filter is not resetting. So, oh, that's why. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reset like everything, just so we can get a clean slate. Okay, wait, control. Oh yeah, zoom in, yeah. Oh, I zoomed in way too much. Okay. Trying to work it out. Okay. So this did work for me last night, I swear. So if anyone else, actually, anyone else would like to try it out, I'm gonna go to this timeline again. It's giving me one result. I want to, I want to clear all filters. So there's no saved queries. If I go back to like, say like May 7th, and I update you, okay, trying to like reset. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. So this data doesn't actually go all the way back to January 1st, 2020. It like goes like somewhere in May 2020. Why are you like this? Can I make a new timeline? It's just completely. I'm gonna create a new timeline. Let's make sure it has all the data sources that we want. Okay, let's see if this new timeline is working. Okay, host name. We want to make sure that it's equal to Mara. And as long as everything populates, we will have it done. Okay. See, load in events. Okay, perfect. Now everything's popping back up. Okay, so then we're also going to go ahead and let's go find the previous thing. So I was supposed to be at 17, and then at 9:04. We're gonna update that. Okay. Okay, for some reason it doesn't feel like showing us. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and go back. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and type the source IP because we memorized it. Okay, we memorized it. So instead of dragging and dropping, I'm gonna go ahead and just type it here where I'm gonna do source.ip equals 9.9.1.1. I think that's it. Let's see. I think that's it. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I put quotes around this. And I'll work to update this. Okay, I know we've gone through a struggle here, but what we found now is we have two things from the specific IP address. Okay, we have this first attack that happened at 9:04 my time, which is 1:04 server time, which is what was the first thing. And then we also have this right here, this a new one that happened actually 9 hours before. Okay, so let's see what actually happened 9 hours before. So what we're doing is we want to look at what exactly is that user trying to look at. So if we scroll down, let's go ahead and go to original URL, or URL original, I think. So URL original. You'll see that they also tried to get into admin. They also tried to get into plugins, and then easy password recovery. Something that's weird here is I want y'all to look at this OR213D1, whatever. This is just encoded SQL injection. So if you don't know what SQL injection is, it's basically trying to trick your trick your server into showing everything that's there. So the way they'll do that is they'll use SQL, which is like what is it? It's a query language. I forgot what the S stands for though. It's a query language where you'll have a bunch of tabular data, so a bunch of tables, and in those tables you'll have usernames, passwords, all kinds of sensitive information. Okay, and then what you can do is you can say, like, the syntax is you can say get username, password, where user ID is equal to 1. But you can also do you can also add in where user ID is equal to 1 or 1 is equal to 1. Okay, so if you notice 1 is equal to 1 is true, and then all of a sudden, instead of having to look for each individual user ID, if you say 1 equals to 1, that's going to be true for all the values, and it's going to print everything out. Okay. Yusuf mentioned that there's base 64 code in the URL. That is amazing because I did not know that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that right there, and I'm going to go to secret 2 or 3, and we have this base 64 decoder. It's just base64decode.org. I'm going to paste this here. We're going to decode, and it looks like we have our flag right here. It says you got another. Okay, so that. So the great thing about Capture the Flag is that we get to, Google stuff. We get to use the internet at our disposal because hackers are, okay? So we want to make sure that we get to be on their same page as well. So now for our last challenge, we've detected an attack and we know what they did, okay? They did a SQL injection to find out all the data, all the sensitive data in the table, okay? But the thing is, were they the first person to try that, or were they just the first person that got caught? So our final question, final challenge is, has anyone else tried the same attack? Okay? Oh, that's the next slide. Ignore that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and go back. So we filter the URL to include or. What do you mean by that? Like you want to check to see if it has all this stuff here, because we can copy and paste the stuff. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can copy all of this. So we want to filter. Let's try that. Okay, so the URL.original contains some value. Okay, and you said that contains the injection. So the injection is this or 21 parentheses 3D1 20. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if this works in KQL. It looks like it doesn't, but what does work is what we can do is we can type the beginning. So we know it's admin slash plugins slash easy password recovery. And it actually looks like it's trying to autocorrect that it has two. So what I'll go ahead and do is add this asterisk. This kind of gives it like a wild card. So anything that starts, I need to make sure this isn't quotes, but anything that starts with this, should print it out. So it looks like now we have two things that looked for easy password recovery, okay? Two things. So you're right to filter by the URL, okay? And so this is the one that we looked at before that was at 12:05, but it looks like, wow, it looks like someone just 5 hours before tried the same thing. So if we click there and look for more details, it's going to scroll through and it's going to load. It takes some time to load, but it's a good time. Okay, we're going to scroll down. All the way down to URL original, and let's see what's up. Okay, so this looks a little familiar. How do we think that we can get the third flag out of this one? Okay, it's the same injection. You're right. It's got that or 1 is equal to 1, which, let's be real, 1 is always equal to 1. So we can go ahead and try that same thing that we did before. We're going to open that base64 decoder encoder. And this looks kind of familiar, so I'm just going to paste some of these just so we can see the difference. We're going to go ahead and decode, and it looks like, oops, did I copy down everything that I needed to? Looks like I'm going to go ahead and delete this to make sure that it's all good. Then I'm going to decode. And it looks like we got our third and final flag that says last one. Okay, so now what we're going to go ahead and do is kind of like recap a little bit. So SIM, which is security information and event management, is a vital part of not just elastic security, but cybersecurity at large, okay? It involves things like preventing attacks, looking at attacks that may have already happened, and a lot more. And I want to reiterate that if you did not get the gist, elastic security is a free and open solution, okay? That allows people to prevent, detect, and respond to threats, okay? That being said, I'm glad that y'all found it fun. I know it struggled for me a little bit, but this is also a really great tool that if you want to learn how to make your own access logs, you could, host your own capture the flag. That being said, if you also want to host these slides, localhost.emily.io has more details on how you can get started and host your own Elastic workshop. Okay. So the next steps, if you want to continue with this, is you can try things like adding your own device logs. Maybe see if someone hacked you, who knows? You can also investigate using Metric Beat. Metric Beat is just a lightweight shipper that you can install onto your servers to periodically collect metrics from the operating system and from services running on the server. So it's just a way of getting more information. And you can also create some rules to make sure you flag any, suspicious behavior and something that can be potentially malicious. Okay, just for fun, we're going to do a little quiz. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Let's see how correct I do it myself. Okay, so we're going to go to localhost or mlh local.host/quiz. So mlh local.host/quiz. Okay, this is a fun time. If you haven't checked in, make sure you do at hackpack/hackwithmara. It's a good time. So this quiz is really great because we get to enter into a raffle to win a free t-shirt. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna do introduction to threat hunting with elastic security. It's literally the last one. Okay, so we're gonna click the last one, and yes, free t-shirt. And Major Week Hacking organized this, and I'm just going to use localhost to get started. There's a bunch of survey stuff. I'd appreciate it. Okay, so here's like the quiz. So it's a raffle for a free t-shirt. Okay, it's a raffle. Wait, someone, wait, who's watching from MLH? Because that is not me. Wait, what's going on? Is this Jack? This feels like something Jack would do. Or Ryan or Mary. I'm trying to think of who else would have access. Crazy. Spicy Paneer says it's Jack. Crazy. Okay. Look at MLH. Good. Back the logs. You're right. You're right. It probably is me. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for anyone, this is our last thing before we're gonna move on to I think the next thing on the schedule is probably at 10, which is probably why someone else is logged on. But if you do this quiz, you do the survey, it doesn't matter if you get 100% right or not, you still entered into a raffle for a free t-shirt. Okay, so thank you. This is honestly very relevant for cybersecurity. We've just been hacked, okay? So we had to figure out who it is. But to kind of talk a little bit more about cybersecurity, we talked a lot about something called the CIA triad. Does anyone remember what CIA stands for? Okay, what does CIA stand for? The second, Tool said the second option. Does anyone agree or disagree? Spicy Paneer says the same thing. You know, that's 2 agrees. I'm good with it. 3? Okay, I'm good with it. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. Okay, what is the purpose of a SIM, which is security information and threat management? Okay, this one's probably a little bit harder, but what we'll do is, okay, to collect data so organizations can understand their users. Incident. Okay, so one thing I want to go back to is sorry, there's a lot of slides, but there's something that I remember. It has to do with Pfizer. Okay. Okay. So companies like Pfizer use it to search through their scientific data. Okay. So what is it? I've already selected one, so I have to keep going. I don't have a preference. Okay, it looks like a lot of people are saying 1, so I'll stick with 1 and we'll see if that's right at the end. So how would you typically use a SIM? So this is a select all that applies. It's a multi-select. So go ahead and type in 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. All 5. All 5, okay. That is my alarm that I have to go to class soon, so we're gonna wrap this up. am also going to my cybersecurity class, so that's exciting. Okay, so it looks like I answered all 3 questions. I am going to skip through the survey. Please do not skip through the survey. Please let me know. So I'm just gonna, yes, answer it. This is cool. Don't have any questions. I would love to do an email about more advanced capture the flag. That sounds really cool. Okay, so let's go see what our answers are. Okay, look, if you complete both the quiz and the survey, you'll be entered into a raffle to win an exclusive MLH t-shirt at the end of the month. So pretty cool. I love Major League Hacking. I love local host events. I highly recommend. Y'all are my friends. All come to local host events. Join Major League Hacking. Okay. Again, I'm gonna. Okay, don't skip past this. Hackers. The answer is always hackers. Hackers. Okay, so it looks like we got that first question right. We got 100%. It's a CIA triad, okay? And then the purpose of a SIM is to allow organizations to detect and investigate incidents. And then you would apply a SIM with all 5. If for any reason you're looking at, or you're not sure how to access the quiz, I'm sending it in the chat. This is my last plug. You only have about 4 more minutes to check in, so make sure that you check in at hackpack/hack with Mara. Okay. So, oh, thank you. Okay, so we are here. Okay, other than that, if at any point you were wrong, that is okay. We're here to learn, and that's the great thing about these quizzes, that it tells you the right answer at the end. So shout out to all y'all for working with me and getting us a 100%, okay? I didn't have any input. This was all y'all, okay? So other than that, it was a great time spending time with y'all, and I'm super excited to see you later tonight at 3 p.m. If you want to use only HTML, I'm gonna end Local Hack Day the same way I started, with just pure HTML, and we will make a soundboard together, which will be really fun, and bonus points if you come up with cool clips. Okay, so I will see y'all later. I'm gonna go head off to class. Bye.